Hello again, my friends. I am Pavlo Lapikov and welcome to the Fire Safety Philosophy podcast. I'm not just an engineer behind a desk, I'm a field engineer and still deep down a fire officer at heart. Over the years, I've seen how even approved designs can fail when real people are inside. That gap between what passes inspection and what truly protects life. That's why this podcast exists. Because I care about lives. This isn't just a show about codes or systems. It's about questions that matter. What does safety really mean? Why do we settle for good enough? And why do we keep focusing on reaction instead of prevention? Today we face one of the hardest and most important questions in fire safety. Why do we spend billions fighting fires after they start instead of preventing them before they begin? This is the philosophy of prevention. This is suppression. Picture two heroes. One rushes into burning buildings and saves two lives. The other quietly fixes a faulty alarm that prevents a tragedy no one ever sees. Who do we remember? We love the drama of suppression. The sirens, the smoke, the heroism, but we forget the quiet power of prevention. The unseen action that keep disasters from happening. One saves the moment, the other saves the future. Alright, let's take a quick break and then we'll jump right back into fire safety philosophy. This podcast is brought to you by Fireheart Fire Safety Marketing Agency. At Fireheart, we help fire safety professionals, companies, and educators share the mission with the world. From bold posters to unforgettable campaigns, we turn safety into culture. Because saving lives isn't just about systems, it's about communication. Learn more at fireheartfsma.com. So, let's back to the show. We celebrate what we can see. Firefighting is dramatic, visual, emotional. Prevention is invisible. It feels boring. That's why most countries spend over 90% of their fire budgets on suppression, equipment, stations, and response, while prevention, education, and enforcement struggle to get attention. We reward courage under pressure, but we rarely reward wisdom before disaster. In Rome, Emperor Augustus created the cohortes vigils, the world's first organized fire brigade. But they didn't just fight fires. They patrolled neighborhoods, inspected buildings, and punished neglect. They understood the something we've forgotten, that true safety begins long before the fire starts. 2,000 years later, we still spend more time fighting flames than preventing them. Modern cities measure safety but by how fast help arrives, not by how rarely it's needed. We build faster trucks, smarter alarms, stronger equipment, and call it progress. But that's not progress. That's reaction with better technology. Real progress is when there is no need for a truck, no reason for a call, and no tragedy to remember. 1942, Cocoanut Grove nightclub, Boston. In just minutes, a spark from a light ignited flammable decorations. 492 people died as exits locked, lights failed, and panic filled the air. The fire changed every exit code in America, but at the cost of nearly 500 lives. 1995, Cater Toy Factory, Thailand. A blaze ripped through a factory with no sprinklers and locked gates. 188 workers, mostly women, never made it out. Inspection had been passed on paper, but in reality prevention was ignored for profit. 2003, the Station Nightclub, Rhode Island. A band's pyrotechnics set fire to foam line walls, and less than 90 seconds the ceiling erupted. 100 people died trying to escape through overcrowded exits. Investigators later said that it wasn't the flame that killed, it was everything that came before them. Different countries, different decades, but the same truth. Every one of these disasters began not with a spark, but with a decision. Alright, let's take a quick break and then we'll jump right back into fire safety philosophy. This episode is powered by Fireheart Fire Safety Marketing Agency. We believe safety should be seen, heard, and remembered. That's why Fireheart creates powerful campaigns and visuals that don't just meet compliance, they inspire culture. If you ever thought, how do I make people actually care about safety? Fireheart is the answer. Check out fireheartfsma.com. So, let's back to the show. Suppression is about courage under pressure. The heroism of firefighters who run toward what everyone else run from. We owe them gratitude beyond words. But prevention is about conscience. It's about the engineer, the inspector, the teacher, the people who make sure those firefighters are needed less often. Suppression saves the day. Prevention saves the century. Human beings are weird to respond, not to anticipate. We act when we see smoke, not when we see risk. Psychologists call it normalcy bias, the belief that it won't happen to me. That's why alarms get disabled, inspection delayed, and fire drills skipped. Prevention takes imagination, the courage to act before disaster proves you right. Here is the truth. Suppression drives business, prevention doesn't. When fires happen, industries move, insurance rises, materials are sold, rebuilding begins, money flows, but through ashes. Prevention stops that cycle. It saves lives and money, but it doesn't sell drama or hardware. As long as fire safety is seen as a cost, not an investment, we'll keep rebuilding what we fail to protect. Even in Canada, 7 out of 10 fatal fires happen in homes without working smoke alarms. Not because technology is missing, but because awarenesses and enforcement fail. We've built some of the world's best systems, but too often we stop at installations instead of education. That's not a design flaw, that's a mindset flaw. In Japan, prevention is culture. Children learn fire and earthquake drills from kindergarten. Annual citywide preparedness days involve millions of citizens. The fire fatality rate remains among the lowest in the world. But in parts of South America, Africa, and Asia, urban growth outpasses safety regulation. Prevention becomes a privilege, not a policy, and suppression can keep up with neglect. You can fight what you refuse to prevent. Every fire needs 3 things: fuel, oxygen, and heat. Remove one and the fire dies. Society's moral fires need 3 things too: neglect, greed, and ignorance. Remove one and the cycle of disasters breaks. That's the real philosophy of prevention. To see the danger before it lights up the night. Prevention is the quietest form of love. It's a parent checking a smoke alarm, a manager insisting on evacuation training, a firefighter teaching schools children about escape plans. No medals, no cameras, no breaking news. Just quiet care, saving lives that never know they were in danger. That's the essence of prevention. It's invisible success. Every siren tells a story of what we missed. Suppression is courage and compassion, but it's also confession. It reflects every risk ignored, every corner cut, every inspection postponed. Suppression repairs, prevention protects. Both matter, but only one makes the other unnecessary. We stand at a crossroads. One path keeps funding reaction. Faster trucks, better houses, bigger budgets. The other funds awarenesses, education, community resilience. One waits for the next disaster. The other works to make sure it never comes. If we truly want to honor our firefighters, we must build a world where they are called less often, not more. Because their highest form of respect is making the heroism unnecessary. Suppression saves the moment. Prevention saves the future. One reacts, the other transforms. Fire safety isn't just about call, system, or reports. It's about conscience. It's about empathy made practical. The greatest fire is the one that never begins, because someone cared enough to prevent it. Alright, let's take a quick break and then we'll jump right back into fire safety philosophy. A big thank you to today's sponsor, Fireheart Fire Safety Marketing Agency. Fireheart exists because fire safety messages deserve modern tools. Posters, training programs, creative campaigns. Fireheart makes safety unforgettable. Visit fireheartfsma.com to learn more. So, let's back to the show. So, my friends, fire safety has never been about passing inspection or collecting certificates. It has always been about people. The ones you share a coffee with in the morning, the ones waiting for you to come home at night, the ones who trust that someone, maybe someone like you or me, made the right decision long before the smoke ever rose. When we say meets code, we are not just stamping a document, we are deciding how much a life is worth. That's why safety must go beyond compliance. It must live in awareness and care in the courage to demand more than minimum. Because a building that meets code isn't always a safe one, and a system that works on paper doesn't always protect in practice. This was episode 9, The Philosophy of Prevention. This is Suppression. Next time, we'll explore a question that challenges the very heart of your work. Can true fire safety ever exist? If today made you think, subscribe, share this episode, and leave a review. That's how we grow this movement together. I am Pavlo Lapikov, care about lives, think beyond compliance. Until next time, stay thoughtful, stay safe, and don't play with matches. Bye bye.